Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome to episode 1 in my Needy Duplicant series. The last episode was just going over kind of the general game plan and some map generation details. But in this episode, we'll be getting into the game now. Alright, so Iridio is a forest start, and immediately you'll notice everything is very warm. That means no mealwood. The only plants we could grow are mushrooms, but that would require getting into a slime biome. So the only options for food early on are these hexalent fruits. And I do want to get into ranching these pips here. I'll feed them wild arbor trees and just get dirt out. And if we're going to be relying on ranching, then it might be a good idea to try for the carnivore achievement. And since we can't plant anything anyway, maybe we'll just get locavore along the way. These are the two most difficult achievements to get, just because of the time constraint on carnivore. So looking around, I notice immediately a rust biome here to the left, and that's really about it. Maybe a caustic biome up here with that algae. Got a decent supply of water. But I think the plan is pretty straightforward. I'm going to be rushing electrolyzers for oxygen because of the increased oxygen demand my duplicants have. I can't really rely on oxyferns. They just don't make enough oxygen. And I can't plant them because of the locavore achievement. So I would have to wild plant them, and then they're just really completely useless. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up some priorities here for my duplicants. Stinky, my digger, will focus on attacking and digging. Nisbet, my builder, will be building and operating. And Rowan, my researcher, will just be researching and occasionally operating. Go ahead and decrease these. I don't want anyone else being able to research. I'll set up some separate schedules for them here. Move Nisbet and Rowan. Then to squeeze out as much efficiency from these duplicants as I can, I'm actually going to remove one of their bedtime slots, because they only need the 2 to fully recover, assuming they get to bed right on time. Then I'll copy that down here and bump it over 1. And then same thing for Rowan's schedule, I'll just bump it over twice. That way they're a little staggered. Now I think the best place for my ladder is going to be about here. So I will dig over this way. And we do need to get towards this water. So maybe something like that. And then I don't want to disturb this tile. This tile actually has a hatch in it. Every map starts with a hatch right here, even in the forest biome. It's because it's part of the igneous rock that generates with the printing pod. Then this ration box is going to have to go. That's where I want to put my research station. But I'll let this run now. Get some things done. Right, I want 1 tile there, and 2 tiles there. And then the ladder will come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tiles. And I make it this wide for really good airflow up the center ladder. And we'll come down this way. And over like that. The very first thing I want to build are bathrooms. The wash basin I'll get in here and here. And the outhouse here and here. It's going to need a floor and a ceiling. And then to segregate the rooms, we'll just add in some doors here. Alright, looks like we've exposed a caustic biome over here and down here. It's interesting generation on this starting biome. It's really tall and narrow. And oh, what is that? We've got our first geyser. Now, do we take a peek? Or do I let the suspense build and dig it out? I think we'll wait. I mean, even if we do dig over to it, the obsidian would be in the way, and I don't think I could use anything immediately on cycle 1, so we'll wait. Alright, next step will be the research station. And I'm going to make this its own room. That way it gets turned into a laboratory once I get the supercomputer, and Rowan will be able to research much more quickly. The power will be supplied from this area over here. And to increase duplicant efficiency a little bit, I'll go ahead and open these bottom doors, just so they don't have to wait and open it themselves. And the very first thing I want to research, I do want to get electrolyzers as quickly as possible, but I'm going to take a quick detour into the supercomputer. That way I can turn this room into a laboratory, and then all subsequent researches will be done more quickly. And how are we doing on oxygen? Not too great. Yeah, they're sucking it up really quickly. Because of mouth breather, it's like I have 6 duplicants in the colony, but I'm only getting 3 duplicants worth of labor out of it. And then these wash basins don't even need to be enabled in order to get the latrine bonus, so I'm just going to disable them. We're going to have to rely on this water for oxygen for a while. I don't want to waste it on just washing hands. And disinfecting is a very useless task, so I am going to turn that off. Who is trapped and how? Why? Why are you trapped? There, go, leave. Alright, let's dig this out now. And we're going to need to make some space up this way. Get some hamster wheels. And some batteries. Connect them up. And Rowan should be just about to finish there. Perfect. Let's get that in place. And the next research we want to go to is sanitation, just for the mesh tile to improve airflow through the center. And then we can stop at electrolyzers. I'll also enable auto harvest on all of this, just in case my duplicants don't have anything else to do. They can just go harvest a tree or something, because idle dupes are useless dupes. So what is the next thing I can have them work on? I do want to get some beds in place. I usually put those right up here. So I'll dig this area out, get it set up for the bedroom, and then towards the top up here, I kind of need to dig out some space as well, just to store some hydrogen so that the electrolyzers don't overpressurize. The hydrogen generator is quite a ways, so I won't be able to consume the hydrogen that's produced, so I will need to buffer it somewhere. Alright, and there is plumbing. I'll get this in place. Just come out towards the middle here, and I know I'm going to be taking it up and down towards the bathrooms. Alright, and there was sanitation done. That gives me the mesh tiles. I'm going to replace these ladders with mesh tiles, but that's going to be done on a lower priority, because there's more important things for the duplicants to be focusing on. So now we can go into the electrolyzer. I need them to hurry up on these tasks. I'm going to bump this up to 6. We're really running low on oxygen. I need the infrastructure in place now that Rowan's finished this. Probably here and here. You can come over and connect in like that. And these are going to need some power. Next research actually isn't that important. The big thing is just getting to the electrolyzer. We can do... food is fine. And this is a very big moment for the colony. Got another printable here. So the duplicant selector mod also lets you re-roll stuff that aren't duplicants here, and you can actually pick exactly what you want, but I'm not going to be doing that. What I need is a rancher, very desperately. And it's important that the rancher comes from the first print and not from the initial duplicants, because everything printed after the initial 3 always start with a skill point you can tech them into, which actually makes them get towards the 2nd tier skill faster than the starting duplicants. So I'm going to try re-rolling for a decent rancher and then just kind of tweak the specifics of them once I find one. Joshua here is pretty close to what I'm looking for, actually. He's already got Biohazardous and Mouth Breather. I'll just tweak him a little bit. Give him Supplying and Farming. Now, you have to go through farming in order to get to ranching anyway, so I kind of use my ranchers as my farmers as well. Just kind of dual task them. He's missing Bottomless Stomach. There we go. Gourmet, no, don't want that. We do want Twinkle Toes, though. And Green Thumb. Still at -4, so let's give him buff. And then maybe take some of these points out of supplying and put it into ranching there. Alright, that looks like a good rancher. Now we will immediately give him that skill, improved farming, before getting into ranching. Priorities, ranching first, farming second, and then you get to be put on your own schedule there, Joshua. Beautiful. Oxygen pressure is getting so bad. It's barely breathable. Come on, guys, you're almost there. Alright, what did Rowan just finish? Meal preparation. Let's do maybe Brute Force Refinement so that we can go into the Fire Pole to increase transportation speed. Just squeeze out a little more efficiency from the duplicates. Okay, first electrolyzer built. This pump's about to finish. Okay, that should solve oxygen. Now I need a place for the hydrogen to collect up here. Otherwise these will quickly overpressurize. And I'm not too concerned about the heat that's going to be coming out of these. Iridio is already really hot, and I'm going to be ranching anyway. So this might go against conventional wisdom here, but it's completely necessary with mouth breathers. I've got a couple duplicates infected with food poisoning now. I don't think that's that bad. Let's see. So bladder plus 200% a cycle. Bathroom use speed minus 20%. Stamina minus 30%. So as long as they're recovering from sleep, they should be fine. Alright, that was Brute Force Refinement. Now we don't have... Rowan doesn't have the Advanced Research skill yet, so I'll just do a couple more basic techs. Pressure Management to lead into Decontamination to get rid of some of this CO2 down here. And now let's have a quick look at the rooms overlay. So we've got a latrine increasing morale, got a barracks increasing morale, and then a laboratory increasing Rowan's efficiency on researching. If we take a look at him here, he gets both the lab workspace, plus 10, and then the lit workspace from the light from the printing pod, so plus another 15, for a total of 25. Which is kind of a big deal, especially early on, and when it's so easy to do, there's no reason not to do it. Alright, looks like we've exposed a little bit more of the map here. Got a chlorine gas vent. I don't think we'll be using that anytime soon. Got another geyser up here. Gonna have to break into that, see what that is. And I'm not seeing anything else down here. Another rust biome, maybe. Now these water pools aren't gonna last forever. So we will need to find some renewable source of water, especially since we're going to be burning so much of it in electrolyzers. Ideally, a cool slush geyser or a cool salt slush geyser, but a polluted water vent would be fine, as long as it's not one of the super hot ones, because we have no way of dealing with hot stuff yet. Alright, let's see, what else can we make them do? The plumbed bathrooms and the carbon skimmer both produce polluted water, and I'm not going to be sieving it yet. I just want to put it in tanks. So I'm going to go through filtration before improved plumbing. Well, actually, I'll just go all the way here. I think Rowan should have the advanced research skill by then. That way I can just store the polluted water, and I'll deal with it later. Oh, there it is. Rowan just earned a skill point. Immediately into advanced research. That means we're going to have to make some space here for the storage tank. And then the plumbing for it's going to look kind of like this. Alright, things are looking much more breathable now. Alright, someone else got a skill point. Let's see. We'll give that to Stinky. Okay, we can dig through granite now. So we can actually break in and get this algae and just trivialize oxygen production. I'm trying to think of the most important direction to dig in first, though. Nothing's too obvious yet. I'll just keep him in the base, catching up on some building tasks. I could prepare for the carbon skimmer here, get things ready. Pretty sure the input is there, and then the output will come out this way, into the tank over there, sharing the outputs with the bathroom. Power, right about there. And we are about to get another duplicate in 40-ish seconds here. This is probably going to be our chef. Can't survive on hexcellent fruits forever, so we're going to have to go into mush bars until we get the ranches up and running. And I might even take on a second chef. Alright, there's the carbon skimmer. No, sorry. There, too many things are happening. Okay, we'll get that down. Then we'll have Rowan get the carbon skimmer. And then I will attend to the printing pod. But we want a cooker. And I usually do Mima as my chef. It just seems really appropriate. Let's give her not those, but supplying and suit wearing. These are all useless traits. Let's do buff. Gourmet. Now, gourmet is actually mutually exclusive with the cooking interest, which makes no sense to me. That's like saying you can't have a duplicant who's interested in ranching and also be an animal lover. I don't know why gourmet is the only thing like this, but you can never have a chef who's also got gourmet. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm gonna force that on. And then also give Twinkle Toes. Might need one extra positive trait, but let's see. Biohazardous, bottomless stomach, and mouth breather. Yeah, we're still at -3. Now I could do Rock Fan. I can maybe do Early Bird. I think I might do Night Owl, though. I could have, like, a daytime cook and then a nighttime cook. Alright, so we'll take Mima here. Buff, Gourmet, Night Owl, Twinkle Toes, Biohazardous, Bottomless Stomach, and Mouth Breather. Alright, and then I will immediately skill her into cooking. And get her own schedule here to take advantage of that Night Owl trait. And I'm actually going to... I'm going to put her here and save this slot for someone else. Because I want 1 hour of buffer between bath time and then the actual bonus. Because I don't want that bonus to go to waste. Alright, that looks good. And then priority-wise, you will be cooking. And I really don't want you doing anything other than cooking, so I'm going to turn everything else down. But now the next question is, where do we put the grill? Probably right here. This looks like a good spot. just extend that over, and we should be fine. And then that should cover the two hardest problems of this early game. That being a lack of oxygen and a lack of food. I think I'll go all the way to about cycle 10, depending on how stable I can get the colony. So far, I'm sitting at about 46 minutes of footage. I don't think there's really anything else I want to accomplish in this episode. Things I want to do in the next episode for sure is getting this hydrogen under control, start burning it off for power, get my duplicants off of the hamster wheels, and then maybe start getting some farms put in over here. Or not farms, but ranches, start wrangling up these pips. And then there'll be a good feedback loop between the pips and the hatch that I have here. I want to turn this hatch into sage hatches, and then that can just eat all of the dirt that the pips excrete. And then I should, as long as the arbor trees are growing wild, it should be free critters. Because the trees will sustain the pips, and the pips will sustain the hatches. And then both of those combined will sustain my duplicants, and hopefully get us to the carnivore achievement. Is there anything else I want to pick up along the way too, maybe? Bed and bath, you can't really avoid that one. Let's see, it's not raw will be really easy to get. I'm about to get mush bars to turn into mush fry, that'll count. Royal flush will be getting soon. This one's interesting. Improve duplicate morale by designating 4 areas as nature reserves. So all I'd have to do is get a park sign down in an area that has 4 natural plants 4 times. Now there's no time constraint on that, so I could do it later. But while I have these wild plants, I'll try and pick up a few of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can maybe get one here. I could get one in there. I could get one down there. And then maybe one here. That would be all 4. Alright, but this is in place now. So I will deconstruct these 2 bathrooms. Or these 2 buildings of the bathroom. I want to replace these, not all at once, but half and half. That way duplicants have somewhere else to go in the meantime. Alright, and that looks like that was just, yep. Decontamination, beautiful. Get a carbon skimmer down here. Start getting rid of this CO2. We need to get Rowan on another research. Let's see, I'll do the fire pole, and then I'll completely do animal control to get the incubator. That's going to be really important. That will speed up the time it takes for eggs to hatch. That way I can get more pips sooner and have them start reproducing. I want to disable raw egg and mush bar and force the duplicants to eat the final product that has more calories. Because really all you're doing is spending power to get calories. Rowan, what are you doing? I'm gonna turn cooking down on everyone here. Rowan needs to be researching. Buddy. Go. You have one job. Literally one job in the entire colony. Idle dupes. Why are my dupes idle? Stinky, what are you doing? Go dig something. We can prep this area for the farm, or the pip ranch. Maybe extend that out a little bit. I'm also going to bump the priority on the grill here. That way the higher tier food is finished before the lower tier food. Oh dear. That's a big no-no. That's the one problem with keeping these doors open. Shine bugs like to annoy your duplicants while they're sleeping, which is good if they have nyctophobic, but not good if they're normal. If I could have one fly up over by Mima, she could get the lit workspace bonus. Alright, it looks like Rowan just finished the grooming station. Can get these in place now. But we're getting into a little bit of a lull, approaching cycle 10. I think this might be a decent place to end the episode here. We got the two most important things solved, oxygen and food. So like I said, the next episode will focus on ranching up these pips and dealing with all of this extra hydrogen that's accumulating up here. We may break out a little further, explore the map, and oh my. Do I wait for the next episode to take this duplicate, or do it now? I'm not too sure what duplicate I would even take. Alright. I'll take one more. I'm not gonna take the hatch. That feels a little cheaty. I wouldn't have anything to do with it anyway. This is an exceptionally terrible duplicate. Slow learner, Luddite, and critter aversion. What is your balance? -4. And that's just a naturally generated duplicate. I think I might take another chef. Who do I want? Who looks like a chef? Maybe one of the new ones. I could do a Higby. Higby and Mima, the two chefs. Alright, yeah, we're gonna do that. Let's give him cooking, supplying, and suit wearing. You know what? We can keep rock fan. Bottomless stomach. Let's do buff. And gourmet. Then, of course, twinkle toes. Now, biohazardous. And mouth breather. There it is. Alright, and that's another perfectly balanced duplicate. I'm actually not too worried about how these skills are distributed. By the end of the game, it's kind of irrelevant, and cooking doesn't really give much of a bonus, so each point only gives an extra 5% in cooking speed. It's a pretty terrible conversion rate. So I'll go ahead and print Higby here, and then that will be the end of this episode. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next episode.